Just starting. My shitty dating life and where the channel is going. It's gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be one that gets deleted for sure. Let's see here. The fuck? God damn it. You can see it. Let's see here. Go joining this. I haven't had a live event for a while. Hey. All right. Fuck. All right, you guys are okay. I need to turn off the volume. You guys are gonna get it. Sup? Okay. Thank you for joining me. If you join this live event, you're catching me having a bad day, and I just wanted to talk to you guys. It's been a long time. I feel a little bit disconnected with my audience, and today would be a good day. new year, new you, something like that. Man, I am okay. I was wondering where you were. Okay, you guys are the best. I fucking love you guys. So I woke up. I've been having a shitty week for a couple of reasons, but let's start off with the most surface level reason I was upset this week, because all my friends, for example, one of my friends, he just bought his first Corvette. He's also my age, and he bought his first Corvette. Wait, is this the mic? All right, making sure it's using my good microphone. He bought his first Corvette, and I'm like, damn, dude, I could not even get close to affording a Corvette right now. So I was a little bit sad. You know, you guys ever have that happen to you? You know, your friend, you know, if your friend just bought something that you know you're not even close to affording, but you're like, fuck, it makes me feel very insignificant. All right, well, that was me. So, but what happened today changed my perspective a little bit, because I work from home now, right? So when I woke up today, there's no alarm. I woke up at the time I wanted to wake up. And then I realized I might not have a nice car, but I also don't have an alarm clock. And you know what? You can't have everything in the world, right? Especially at this age. So then that made me feel better, because I woke up around when my body woke me up is when I woke up, not because I was scared that I was going to be late for work. And I was happy about that. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's see. Yeah, my Christmas tree is still up. All right. The next thing I have to tell you guys, and I'll talk about where this channel is going, is that it's always going to be about career information. But there's pretty much 3 different kind of videos that I'm going to have now. The first video is going to be interviews with people. So I have a couple more interviews coming, and those are going to be the more informational videos like the previous ones I've had. So upcoming is I have an oil and gas engineer from Malaysia, actually. He is Irish guy working in Malaysia, though. I have an interview about working at Honda. So one of my guests, he's going to be coming on the channel. He worked at Honda, and he's also an expert at personal branding. So he's going to talk about personal branding. He's actually famous on Quora. I didn't know that was a thing. Did you guys know that was a thing? You could be famous on Quora famous. Quora, like the website where people ask questions. Quora. Yeah, he's Quora famous. Who knew that was a thing? The second type of videos, oh yeah, the civil engineering video. Fuck. So civil engineering video is actually particularly hard, because civil engineering companies tend to be more traditional, and because civil engineering companies are more traditional, they won't let their employees be a guest on YouTube channels, because like the internet scares them, and like having the truth exposed about your company, which usually isn't even that bad is like evil, and the companies won't do it. It's stupid. For example, my oil and gas video, the reality versus expectations video, that one I had to take down because the guy's well, his name's Ali. Ali's manager saw the video and was like, no, you need to take this video down. Because, and the video didn't even actually stay, we actually didn't name his company in that video, but they still wanted us to take it down. And guess what? I was like, okay, I actually watched the whole video because, you know, I'm posting it to my YouTube channel. So I watched it to make sure he didn't say anything that's really bad, like really negative or slanderous or defamation, right? So the thing that his company got mad for, why they made us take down the video, is because at one point he said he didn't like a seniority system because it is demotivating to work hard, which is true. Like, you could read that. Actually, it's a true statement. Like, seniority systems tend to not really motivate people to work hard. It's usually the systems where people are rewarded for their cause or their effect is a better system. Like, and you would learn that anywhere. And because he said that in the oil and gas video, I had to take down the video oil and gas reality versus expectations, which is unfortunate. All right. All right. So yeah, speaking of that, but I am asking for a civil engineer who I went to high school with if he would do it. So I think he'll do it. So yeah, I'm gonna still interview people for reality versus expectations. That's like my most popular series. It's fun to do and it offers a lot of value to people and it grows my channel a lot. So the reality versus expectations, I still want to keep doing. I'm supposed to contact these people from med school. Oh, by the way, if you know someone in med school or is a doctor who would want to guest my channel, I would pay them to be on my channel. I think I'd pay them. If you can get me a doctor on my channel, I'll pay him $200. If you get me a med student, I don't know, I'll probably only pay him $50. So, and then so that's the direction of my channel. And then the last type of video that I would do is going to be more entertaining videos. I believe the entertaining videos are where I want to take my channel, but it's going to poke at the fun or at the misery of looking for a new job, of getting experience without experience, of being a millennial. So that's going to be the third type of video. It's going to be more entertaining videos, similar to the one that you guys saw in the Uber one, my last video. It'll be similar to that. So more entertaining videos to come. And then also this year, I'm also going to start monetizing my videos more, meaning you're going to see a lot more ads in my videos because I'm getting to a size where people are offering me meaningful money to sponsor a video. So you're gonna see more sponsored videos, but but there's two things I'm gonna make sure of in terms of sponsored videos. The first thing is, are you guys gonna get something out of it? And if possible, I'd prefer sponsorships where you guys don't have to pay, or I'm not asking you to buy something. I think when you ask people to buy something, it rubs people the wrong way, particularly college students who are my audience. So with a lot of upcoming sponsorships, they're not going to ask you to like pay for anything. For example, like my current sponsor, wayup.com. Again, if you guys sign up for their website, it doesn't cost you anything. It's just a marketplace for you to look for a job. And then the companies who post positions there, they're the ones that pay the company and they're the ones that pay for my sponsorship and stuff like that, right? So again, all my upcoming sponsors are not gonna, some of them will cost you money or like will ask you to buy something, but a lot of them are gonna be freemium stuff where they're gonna give you off your value for free. Make a Patreon? I don't know, man. I like sponsored videos because I feel like there are good products out there that are worth recommending to people. And there's websites that are worth visiting because they offer value and you don't have to pay anything. So I kind of like the more sponsored videos. I don't know, have any of you guys gave money to a Patreon? That's what I want to know. See, that's a legit question right there because I mean, I'm a huge fan of a lot of YouTube channels, like pretty big fans. And I have never once felt like, oh yeah, I'm going to give this guy Patreon money. It's never happened. You guys have given money to Patreon. All right. So then the next topic, and welcome if you've joined, The next topic is my my dating life. So right now, I'm going on a lot of dates, but none of them are like turning into relationships. It's just date, date, and then sometimes uh, I like them and they don't like me, or they like me, I don't like them. I don't know. Either way, it never matches. Like I like them, they like me. It's always like one person doesn't like the either, and then nothing happens. Oh, it is so disappointing. Try Bumble. I don't know, man. It's an awful time for dating. Actually, I think it's the best time for dating because I think it's statistically proven that most couples break up or around on holidays, specifically Thanksgiving and Christmas. I saw this on Facebook, like a Facebook article post. And so a lot of people break up between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I think it's called the turkey dumb is one of them, or the holiday. I don't know, but a lot of people break up. So between now and Valentine's Day, I feel like it's a good time to date. You know, it's cold. People like that cuddle weather. Telling you. So I think it's a good time to date. And trying to date, man. And I don't know, man. I feel like I always feel like I'm second string, and I'm never the quarterback, or I'm never the. Can you guys stop calling me One Punch Man? Look, man, I thought, God damn it. But anyhow, yeah, I'm never the first string, man. I'm always second string because I always feel like these girls, the girl that I end up liking when I go on dates, usually is not interested in me. And so I assume since she's not interested in me, she is most likely dating another guy. That might be pessimistic, but also might be true. So if you guys are reading this, and unfortunately I don't have the chat pulled up, maybe next time if I keep doing these, I'll figure out how to have the chat recorded as well. But the chat keeps calling me One Punch Man, which is an anime. It's like the anime of this year, or the previous year. Like 2015 was the year One Punch Man became a really good anime. And the protagonist is a bald Asian male who apparently looks like me, according to the chat room. All right. So now I'm going to speak to the chat. What type of girls do I like? Apparently I like the girls that don't like me. I'm like one of those fucking idiots. But to be honest, I really don't think the reason I like them is because they don't like me. It's like some weird cat and chase thing. I actually like them before they stopped liking me. So I don't think that's it. But in terms of girls I like, well, I typically like Asian girls because I'm Asian. I like how people, when they say they want to date their own race, always feel the need to defend it. Like, as if it doesn't already make sense, right? Like, some people are like, oh yeah, like, say if like you have a white friend, the white friend's like, yeah, I only like to date other white girls. Everybody suddenly gets all defensive and shit, like, whoa, you only date white girls? Like, that's a little bit racist. But really, if you think about it, you're gonna tend to want to date your own race anyways, because there's a lot more in common. You guys come from like the same streak of DNA, but I felt this. I'm doing this long explanation because I felt the need to defend my right to like Asian girls, but I'm Asian. Racist. So I usually like to date Asian girls. I usually like to date Asian girls who I don't know. I don't want to sound like a basic bro and say like, oh, she like a career and makes me laugh and is funny, which is like what I want, right? I do want a girl that's like has that career and it's funny, but I don't want to be like sound super basic. I guess would be unique to me is I tend to like a little bit of the clingy side with girls. I know some guys don't really like the clingy side. I personally do. It makes me feel needed, and it makes me feel wanted and stuff. The second thing I like girls who can laugh at themselves. It's a very specific sense of humor, but it's called self-deprecation. But girls that can laugh at themselves is really important to me, because at one point in my life, maybe not too long ago, I'm just kidding, it's been 2 years, but at one point in my life, I was dating a girl who couldn't laugh at herself, and she always took herself so serious. And it was eventually like, no, she was hot because she took herself so serious. and that's kind of kept me going. But and eventually, I kind of got annoyed with the fact that she couldn't just like laugh at her, I don't know, her mistakes or laugh at herself. So pretty important quality for me. All right, so but in terms of what I like, there's also things that I think about. Like I want to go who's consistent. By consistent, I mean someone who, you know, always answers your text messages, doesn't just like stop picking up your calls for a few days or more than one day. You know, just disappears randomly and comes back, or someone that's like, hey, do you want to hang out? They're like, nah, I got to do something that's less important than you or more important than you, like hang out with another dude, right? I don't like it when people are that inconsistent, or when a girl I date is inconsistent. And then in terms of style, definitely more on the petite side. I'm not exactly a swole guy myself, so I definitely like my girls on the skinnier side. Like what most guys would call anorexic skinny, I'd be like, that's good for me. So if you have any anorexic skinny Asian friends who can laugh at themselves, have them email me at engineertruth@gmail.com. I'm just kidding. Hey, I'm kidding, but not really. What do I think about chemical engineering? Chemical engineering is probably one of the, it is, I think it's the highest salary for engineering, except for petroleum. It's like petroleum, chemical is second, and not a lot of people major in chemical engineering, so it's a pretty good major. However, there's only a few companies you could work for as chemical engineers. There's not like a shitload of them. So the topic someone brought up is, do girls these days, and by girls these days we mean girls who are between 18 to 30 years old, do they have terrible communication skills? I would say not all girls have bad communication skills, but I will say that girls are very rarely direct with what they say, and a lot of girls answer conflict by not answering at all, which is not an answer, but it is sort of an answer because eventually you get the message. For example, I may have met this girl on Tinder, as I did meet her on Tinder, and we were seeing each other pretty much every other day. I mean, talking like, I saw her at one point in 1 week, I saw her 4 days in a row, right? And so we're dating, and come Christmas time, she vanishes, just disappears. Like, I send her a Merry Christmas text, nothing. And I'm thinking, okay. Her family's visiting, they're in town. She's probably really busy. So I'm waiting patiently. Christmas is over. The next day, barely anything. I think she barely answered, like, hey, Merry Christmas. That's it. I'm like, dude, you're just gonna took me a whole day to answer, and all I got was a reply with the basic necessary words. So I'm like, all right, maybe her family's still visiting because it was the weekend, right? I was like, okay, they're still over. Her family's still over. It'll be fine, right? So after January 1st, all the holidays over, still nothing. So it looks like she just vanished, which is bad communication skills, because I would have preferred if she just told me, hey, Matt, I'm not really interested in dating you anymore. Good luck. Peace, right? I would have preferred that. Or even soften the blow by saying, hey, man, you know, I think it'd be cool if we were just friends. Hey, man, I'd be pretty happy with that. You know, it wouldn't be the first time in my life that I got friend zoned, right? So, but no, instead of doing that, she just doesn't text back, doesn't answer, vanished, gone. My goodness. All right, so the next subject that the chat brought up is Donald Trump. So you know what's crazy is I actually liked Donald Trump at first. I like that he was honest. I mean, he might have said some racist stuff, but he was actually redeeming himself after that, in my mind. Um, I forgot what he said. He was so like passionate about it, and then I was like, he's good with money and shit. But then like the racist stuff like started piling up more and more, and I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I get it. I get both sides, to be honest. I get why people like Donald Trump, and I also get why people don't like Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump plays into everyone's scarce mindset, which everyone is a little bit scarce in their mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like you're afraid of people taking your money and people coming here and like bringing their bombs and stuff. But I mean, for the most part, the Syrians are not dangerous. For the most part, I think I read this in the article, but more people, Obama has done more for immigration enforcement than George Bush did. I'm not sure if that's true. But I do know, after a while, you watch Donald Trump and you realize he's just rambling the same shit and doesn't really like make good points and stuff. So he kind of lost my fandom. Bernie Sanders won my fandom by saying, okay, Trump has delivery, but he doesn't have substance to what he's saying. Bernie Sanders is the opposite. He has substance to what he's saying, but his delivery is not very good. So, yeah. But because when Bernie Sanders, I actually just listen to the content. If you listen to his delivery, fucking socialist, living off the government, man. I actually don't agree with some of Bernie Sanders' statements. I'm not sure if college should be free. But I do know Obamacare overall is not the worst thing ever. And if Donald Trump becomes president, he's going to take away Obamacare, and Bernie Sanders would keep it. So that wins my vote right there. I really think having a universal, or having a government not even require you to have medical insurance, but to have an option for you, and then for the poor people, you still have Medi-Cal, which was already there anyways. But Obamacare is just a way for people to buy medical insurance without having to work for a company at a reasonable price. And so a lot of Republicans said, oh, this is terrible for jobs. But it's actually good for jobs, because when you can get entrepreneurs or self-employed people like me to afford healthcare on my own without having to like spend all my money on it, then you have a better economy, because now it's more encouraging for people to be self-employed or freelancer like me. Whereas before Obamacare, I'd have to pay like a shitload of money to the point where it's giving me an incentive to work for a company so I get the medical benefits. Wrecked. All right. All right. Let's talk. Would you consider dating an engineer? I would consider dating an engineer. I'd probably prefer dating an engineer at this point, man. At this point, sorry, I'm so popular, man. My phone's taking off. I'm not that popular. All right. So the easiest thing I could think of are what someone brought up in chat is to talk about religion or my lack of religion. I grew up Buddhist. My parents are Buddhists, but they didn't really teach us anything about Buddhism. So then I really don't know anything about Buddhism. I just know that there's karma and you burn paper for your relatives on the day they passed or their birthday. I'm not really sure. As for religion, I think it's unfortunate because I feel like I meet a lot of girls who I'd want to date, but then as soon as I find that they're Catholic or they're Christian, I'm like, oh my God, are we really gonna be able to get along well enough to like have a long-term relationship, or is eventually the religion gonna come into it and be like, oh my God, like how can I respect this person when they believe in some words written 2,000 years ago, before they had the internet and before they had basic science? I don't know. fuck? You tell me. Am I still smoking weed? Yeah. Yeah. Is weed for everybody? No. I realize that most people don't like weed. I actually don't smoke weed really to be social. I only smoke weed to sleep. So do you think you need, do I think I need to date a professional? That's a good question. Do I feel the need to refer to professional? I feel like I want a girl that has a career that she's happy with and that has some meaning to her in whatever way. One of the girls I was dating was a cosmetologist, and I really don't know much about that stuff. I mean, I shave my head. I don't even get a haircut. But I like that she was pretty on it with cosmetology. She was like getting licenses to do a permanent eyelash extension, which, by the way, is not permanent. It just lasts for a couple months, but it costs like $150 to get. One thing I learned from her is how expensive it could be to be a girl. Like, as guys, being a guy is expensive because you got to pay for dates. That's super expensive. Being a guy is expensive because you have to get an apartment. Otherwise, girls aren't going to date you, right? Being a girl is expensive because you got to pay $15 for people to paint on your nails every 2 weeks. Or you got to spend like $200, $300 on your hair or it'll look all fucked up. That's why being a girl is expensive. But I still think being a guy is still more expensive than being a girl. All right. NASA, reality versus expectations. I would love to do that video, but I highly doubt any NASA engineer would be willing to be a guest on my channel. Be too afraid to lose his job. The only way I would get someone to talk about that kind of stuff is if they're a former employee at NASA. But the thing about even getting people from prestigious companies to guest on my channel is that sometimes they don't make a good guest because they'll say things that are generic. And so it doesn't really make that good of a video. So it's hard, it's hard to find the guest that's going to be a good speaker and present like information that's not so generic. And then also get someone who's credible at the same time. There's like two requirements: credibility and also saying non-generic shit. I'm tired of reading articles about dating. Not that I read articles about dating because I do just fine, I swear. But I may have seen some articles where they're like, yeah, be confident and like groom yourself and buy clothes that make you look good. Like, all right, like fuck. I think if I already had that, I wouldn't be reading this fucking article. I am not tall. I'm actually 5'5". So I'm actually on the shorter end, even for an Asian guy. I think average Asian guy height is about 5'7", right? So then I'm a little bit shorter than the average Asian guy, which is a problem. It makes dating significantly harder. But I think I've worked around it really well. And it's, how to explain it? This is going to sound really basic too, but it's like, how tall you are, you can't really change it unless you pay for really expensive surgery. And even then, I'm not sure if it's worth it. But you just focus on the other attributes that can make you more attractive. And if you do like everything else right and you're short, you'll actually still do really well with women. Really well. My dating life might be shit, but I still think I have a super active dating life. So at least I'm getting dates, which is good. I think that's better than most people. So I'm happy with that. And every day, you're supposed to think of 10 things you're appreciative of, right? So one of the 10 things I should be appreciative is that I'm actually going on a lot of dates. This is a lot of dates. Are they leading to second dates? Not really. A couple things that a lot of guys fuck up with. And I noticed this among my friends, and I hope they're not watching because they'll know exactly who they are. One thing I noticed with my friends is that a lot of Asian guys, and I'm only speaking about Asian guys because I only have one white friend, and honestly, my friend's not that my group of friends is not diverse at all. I'm mostly Asians, right? I notice Asian guys don't like pounce on the moment fast enough. Like a girl will be like hitting them up on like OkCupid or Tinder, and they'll like show interest, and I'm like, dude, ask her out like now, like right now. They're like, no, man, I'm gonna wait like a week or two, play it cool, because I don't want to show that I'm desperate. And then sure enough, like a week or two later, the girl stops answering him because he never asked her out. And so it's not like she's not talking to only you on that app. She's probably talking to even more people than you're talking to, because she's a girl, and they get like unlimited like 300 matches in an hour if they wanted to. So the girl's showing interest, like pouncing on her right away, right? Another friend of mine went to a rave for New Year's Eve. It's called Countdown, right? White girl, it doesn't matter that she's white. A girl, in case you're racially sensitive, a girl he was dancing with invited him back to her room. But he didn't go. I don't know why he didn't go, but he should have went. He made some logistics excuse, like, oh, I had to drop off my friends, and like after that I drank, and I didn't really like want to get her hopes up, in case she thought it was gonna go anywhere. I'm like, dude, you met her at a rave. She invited you back to her hotel room. She knows the context of everything. If it doesn't turn into a relationship, I don't think she's gonna be that disappointed. And the point that I made to him is, if you're not gonna go back to that room with her, she's gonna invite some other guy that she met that night back to the hotel room anyways, so you might as well be you. You know why? Because I know you're not a rapist and you're not a murderer. And since you're not either of those, you're still better than some of the other guys out there, right? So just go back to the hotel room, hang out with her, and honestly, her heart's not gonna be broken that much if she meets a guy at a rave, sleeps with him, and then doesn't talk to, and he doesn't answer. Like, how disappointed can someone get, either guy or girl, right? But you should have done it. All right. What do I think about the USA? What do I think about the USA having the most expensive higher education? I think, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but I don't think there should be public schools, public colleges anymore. I think everything should be private, and schools should build up their reputation just like companies do. I think that's a better way to do it. And when you have governments pay for colleges, it moves too slow. And because of that, you have these degrees which are no longer, I'm not sure if they're ever relevant. Like, I'm not sure if there's a time in your life when you got a philosophy degree and that really meant something, but you have super outdated curriculum, super outdated majors, and you have nobody doing anything about it, because as soon as you do something about it, all the people that are like, the Asian American enthusiasts are like, no, man, you can't take Asian American studies because that's our heritage, and like that means something to us, and it should be in college. Like, dude, all right, I mean, I get Asian American studies means something to you, but you could also watch YouTube videos on Asian American studies, and that would probably be more entertaining, and you would probably retain more information. So that's what I think. I think the cost of education would actually be reasonable if all colleges were private, which is, again, y'all getting mad at me for like siding with Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders wants to make all public schools free, which is the opposite direction of what I would like. I would like all private schools to be private so that schools can build up their own reputation. Like USC. USC is a private school, has a great reputation. Notre Dame, also another private school, has a great reputation. So again, like what's another one? MIT, Caltech, aren't they all private, right? And they'll have reputations. So when you have private schools and you have reputations behind it, reputations are what makes you sure you're getting your money's worth, and then the free market is what keeps the prices down. You have a lot of fluff in college that's wasting money, which is classes people don't need, features you don't really need, like a really expensive campus, and sports. I'm not even sure. I think sports drains money, but honestly, you really don't need sports in college. At least most sports. I mean, keep the ones that people watch, but I mean, like, how many sports are there that like nobody goes to watch? All right. You know what? I can't really give advice to people in Canada because I think the economy and the job thing, the cultural differences, it would be hard for me to give advice to someone from Canada. But in terms of fitting into a new country, I recommend working on the language as much as possible. Let's see. I saw a good question here. Is computer science way too saturated? No, it is not. A lot of people drop out of programming because they end up not liking it. And so a lot of people will change careers because they don't find it fulfilling. So if you do programming and you find it fulfilling, I don't think it's ever going to be oversaturated. I don't know, probably like 95% of people who try programming just end up not doing it as a career. What do I think of MGTOW? MGTOW is men going their own way. MGTOW is basically a message to men saying, instead of worrying about chasing women, or instead of worrying about women at all, just work on yourself and let the women come. That's basically the premise of MGTOW. And also to not get in committed relationships, because the MGTOW perspective says that relationships benefit the girl more than it benefits the guy, and that in some ways the guys are getting ripped off when they get into relationships. And that a lot of things that women do is cynical. And so with the MGTOW movement, I did tune in for quite a bit, and eventually it got too much women hating on the women hating side for me. And so for me, I think the MGTOW see that when a MGTOW guy, a guy who believes in men going their own way, they look at the girls that think like things that girls do that we don't understand, and they just assume, oh, that's a girl being dumb. Whereas I see it as, if a girl does something that doesn't make sense to me, that means her brain is seeing a different perspective than I am, and that we're in the same world, but there's more than one way of looking at a glass, and she's seeing it from a different angle from I am, and that's why she's reacting that way. And for me, I can't really understand why she sees it that way, because her body is sending her a signal that says, whatever I'm looking at, this is like the right way to look at it, because it's giving me a positive feeling, a feeling of reassurance. When I'm looking at something, it's gonna be different from her, but it's also giving me a feeling of reassurance. So that's what I don't like about MGTOW. I think dating, it can be beautiful, and it can be very frustrating, especially when girls vanish during Christmas. You know who you are. But if you look at things you don't understand from the opposite sex and say that's ignorance, or say that's dumb, it's just gonna make dating a lot more agonizing than it needs to be. Just understand that for the most part, humans are just like positive or negative feeling people, and if something makes us feel negative, we avoid it and we talk shit about it, and if something makes us feel positive, we find ways to make it sound legit, to rationalize it. So, all right. MGTOW doesn't involve women at all. If you plan to be a male and just go your own way and not even engage with women, I don't think that's very healthy either. In the end, we're here to replicate our DNA. And if you don't have the desire to replicate your DNA, you're doing something wrong. Any regrets leaving engineering? So that's the next big announcement. So 2 years ago, I left engineering, mechanical engineering. And it's been 2 years since I've been working in media, and I've built a decent income, enough to afford this little apartment and enough to get by for sure, and still save money. However, funny enough is that I want to go back to doing something technical. I know. So this school is, or I should say, a coding boot camp reached out to me and asked me to hang out. Now, if you guys don't know what coding boot camps, they're small little schools that take about 10 to 30 people a term, and in 3 months they supposedly, allegedly make them into a software engineer. However, these schools are not accredited, and they're basically what I described earlier, a small private school that is based on reputation. So codesmith.io, if their website, if you guys want to check it out, reached out to me and asked me to hang out. I didn't want to because they're unknown code school, and I don't want to waste my time. Then the guy emails me again and says, on Thursday, we have free drinks. And I'm like, I'm there. So I show up and I'm actually really impressed by the school. And so we're going to see how Codesmith and I can work together. And so it will most likely mean if the deal goes through, I'll be working for them, as in making their media, taking their pictures, making their videos for the company, in exchange for going to the school for potentially for free, if not a steep discount, depending on the deal that we work out with. And then so if I do attend, it would be from March to June. It's 3 months. March, April, May. By May, I should be a software engineer if all things go well. It's going to be super intense. It's 6 days a week, and typically students stay there 12 hours a day. So 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So that's going to be interesting. I'm not sure. I know it's going to be exhausting. I'm not sure if it's going to be worth it. I'm not sure what my social life is going to be like during that time. Am I going to be happy, miserable? I'll be making new friends, but also ditching my old friends for 3 months. Yeah, it's a little bit intense. And so I'm taking the next 2 months to prepare because I have to take an exam to get in. What I like about Codesmith is that they take people from intermediate and take them to advanced. Whereas a lot of code schools, they'll take someone from beginner and basically make them intermediate or a little bit past intermediate. And the reason why I like the Codesmith thing from taking people from intermediate to advanced is obviously the beginner stuff you can teach yourself a lot easier. Then we get more advanced. There's things where if someone shows you, you can learn a lot faster. And so you're saving money. Should you major in math? You can still get a really good career in math, for sure. It would just be easier if you got an engineering degree in general. Not that you can't get a good job with math. Like, and with the math degree, you could easily turn into a software engineer, like very easily. But at the same time, you'd have to teach yourself everything. So you might as well just study computer science or computer engineering. How much of your income should go to rent? About 1/3 of your income should go to rent. Can someone work in the US with a foreign degree? You generally can, unless it's in healthcare. If it's in healthcare, I believe you have to take the boards again for the United States. And it's also a lot harder. Not that it can't happen, but in general, a foreign degree is not ideal. There's like 2 times when it's easy to come into the US to work. One is if you barely in college and you do an internship in a foreign country. And then the time after is after you get a lot of experience, so that you're very rare. And once you're very rare, then companies will go out of their way to get you. But after you graduate college and you're looking for your first full-time job, honestly, it's super hard to go to a foreign country when you just graduated from college and have 0 experience, because there's really nothing that separates you from the other entry-level people that just graduated in the US, right? So say you're from India, you just graduated and you want to get a job in the US right away. I mean, what's to separate you from someone that graduated from UCLA or USC? Like, what would make you better than that person? And I don't know, man. You'd have to have something really good going for you if you're gonna beat the students who already studied here. The lotion. You guys didn't see that. I got this off Snag Shot though. Always gotta have that. It's actually not lotion. It's actually a massage No, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyhow, so how nice of an apartment can you get with a 65K salary? You, depending on the city you could live in or you live in, but typically earning $65,000 is enough to get a pretty comfortable apartment, I would say, for sure. That's a lot. I mean, 65,000 is a lot for anybody. Hold on, I need to drink some water. Okay. All right. Do you guys have any questions for me? I've been doing this for a while, this live event for a while, and I think I'm gonna end it in about 20 minutes. So for the last 20 minutes, I'll make it all about you guys, and I'll talk to you guys. Do I miss engineering? I don't miss mechanical engineering at all. But I do think when I do work as a software engineer, I'll probably like it. I like technical work more than creative work, to be honest. I like video editing. Video editing is more technical than actually. I don't enjoy talking in front of the camera as much as I do editing my videos. I get more joy out of editing the video than I do talking in front of the camera. So I think because of that, my personality is just a little more analytical. I mean, that's the age-old question between like computer science, electrical engineering, and computer engineering. Generally, people will advise you to do computer science. And then computer science, computer engineering, and then electrical engineering is how I'd rank it. Now, if you look on paper, they all probably earn about the same, but computer science has more diverse type of companies you could work for. Computer engineering, same reason. And then when you get to electrical engineering, there's really not much going on in electrical engineering except for defense. And maybe it's like some semiconductor stuff, but electrical engineering is like pretty standardized now. And so you don't see like really a lot of exciting, innovative things. Just saying. Now, with that in mind, if you're an electrical engineer, and I'm sure you can get some job in tech, and there's someone that, makes the Oculus Rift out there who's an electrical engineer. But I'm just saying, like in general, in terms of like the whole economy altogether, that's the general trend. How easy is it to become successful on YouTube? I'll tell you when I'm successful on YouTube. I don't consider my channel successful. I've been doing this for 4 years, and I only have 65,000 subscribers. So I'm not really one to comment, but I will say it is harder to get views on YouTube than I thought it would be. Or maybe I'm just doing it wrong, Is it worth getting a chemical engineering degree if I already have an AA? Yes, it would be worth it. Generally worth it for most people to get a chemical engineering degree. I am a Democrat. I know a lot of you guys out there will be Republican. I was actually surprised when my channel attracts a lot of Republicans. I actually share Republican values on financial stuff, economical stuff, but I disagree with Republicans on a lot of social values and taking abortion away. Like that's very important, and also being homophobic. So those two qualities I don't really like about being a Republican. If Republicans got with the times and stopped being so homophobic and had reasonable was okay with reasonable background checks for guns, then I'd be more open to being a Republican. I do like Obama a lot. I know a lot of you guys don't. I think he's fantastic. I think he does a lot better. He did a lot better job than Mitt Romney would have done. I think he did a lot better job than Senator McCain. I can't imagine Senator McCain or Mitt Romney doing a better job than Obama. Is a graphic design degree worth it? A graphic design degree is not necessary to work in graphic design. You could actually just teach yourself everything, However, with that being said, when you're young and you're 18, you might not know how to teach yourself at that point. And so maybe getting the degree would help you push you in the right direction, be a start. Also meet people who also want to do graphic design, which could be helpful in the future. And overall, just have a good college experience too. Hi, how can you best explain taking 2 years working after graduating from uni to a potential employer? So what to do when you have gaps of not working? I think you should just lie and say you volunteered. But then actually volunteer at that location in case they call it or something. But if you actually did something that was meaningful to you during that time, I would just say what was meaningful to you. If you took 2 years off to play video games and watch YouTube videos, I would lie and think of a good one. A lot of places won't check. Okay, please ask your questions. What are most of the industry jobs in mechanical engineering? Actually, mechanical engineering is fairly evenly divided. There's a lot of different types of mechanical engineering jobs. I wouldn't say there's one more dominant. There may be one more dominant based in your location where you live, because there's certain companies that are there. But in terms of like dominating all of mechanical engineering, I don't see that. So how do you teach yourself something? You watch YouTube video, you do it, and then you try to get rewarded for it as soon as possible. Or you set some kind of external goal. So recently, I've been teaching myself JavaScript, and typically I really can't stick with it unless, well, I really can't stick with it at all. But then because of the Codesmith thing, I find myself sticking to learning JavaScript a lot better. Maybe because it's real. Like it's real in my head now that I could be a software engineer. Before that, it wasn't real. All right. My GPA in high school was a 3.6 weighted. Is business technology management a good program? Yes. Are CAD classes good for a BME? You only take like 1 or 2 anyways. Not too big of a deal. Where do I practice JavaScript and how? Oh, maybe I should just move this here so it makes it look like I'm looking straight. That'd be hardly better. How am I practicing JavaScript? I'm going to a website called freecodecamp.com. It's actually the best one. freecodecamp.com. And oh, my link didn't send. I can't even send a link in my own channel. What GPA will get you into most companies? As long as you have something above around 3.5. Above 3.0, I like 3.0 is like typically the minimum GPA you want to have. Ideally, not ideal for a lot of people, but anything above 3.0 gets you that minimum height deal. But anything above 3.5 really says you're a hard worker. God damn it. Were my dating videos pretty good? My dating videos didn't get any views. I felt like I had good things to say about those videos too. Like the content was good. But I think I made a dating video, and in 2 years or 3 years, it barely got about 5,000 views. So, no, dating videos don't get any views. I wish they did though. I wouldn't mind. Wow, our comments are really disabled for this thing. I know the chat's open, but I think comments are disabled, which is kind of weird. All right. My favorite show is Narcos on Netflix. If you guys haven't seen it and you guys are into drugs, then you guys should go watch it. Any good self-help book videos or self-help books? I actually stopped reading self-help books. They got really repetitive in what they stated. So after I read one or a couple, they all basically the same thing. So stop reading them. But honestly, I could summarize like self-help books right here, like eat healthy, work out, appreciate, live in the moment, set goals and accomplish them, be nice to people, be nice to yourself, and then send your good energy out into the universe, and the universe will answer. Like that's pretty. I just read you every single self-help book. All right. I am going to end this video. If you guys have questions for me, I am gonna, well, my email is at engineertruth@gmail.com. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna leave this video up because I said a rant while I was tired, which is not a good thing to leave up on the internet. But yeah. So if this video's not here tomorrow, I took it down. With that being said, I'll see you guys later. Good night.